Wahine leaving with an equal third, and now we've got a big battle here. Katie Simmers just getting to third. Be taking the leader's jersey from Tyler Wright.
I have no clue if she's going to take off and maybe do a drawn-out cutback, and you have the most powerful surfer that's going to stick to her guns and is going to move as much water as possible here.
Last year's world champ setting up that rail, fading. Just looks so free in these lines. Way out in the flats for that bottom turn to set up this tube ride. Loves getting barreled. Runner-up at Pipe this year, champ the year before. 5 CT wins in 2 seasons. Now she's setting up the end section barrel. Simmers representing Oceanside, California, getting trained, and see how she plays with the end section. Real stylish off the top, belts it more vertical again, and steps off with pure stoke. Youngest world champ in history. Looking to go back-to-back and off to a great start. Already back on top of the leaderboard. And adapting to a new venue very quickly, just like champions do.
Yeah, and she's playing the game now. Like, that's what I've noticed from this year. Like, she's different. Like, she's competing more, being smarter, and that's what she did in this wave. Like, didn't try and get too fancy, just straight to work. Amazing tube riding. Notice that technique on her front foot and back foot. Like, moves forward, and now she's gonna bring that back foot backwards once again, because that's where the board's most sensitive. It's right on top of the fins. It makes you direct the board faster. And once again, she's gonna move her back foot forward. Right there. It's in front of the pad. She moves it backwards once again. She'll finish with that big turn. That's just footwork to its max capacity. Heat IQ to the max right there.
Katie Simmers, jersey number 76, area code of Oceanside, California, 760. She's gonna roll in on that Chris Borst design. Just getting her flow state, a little bit late on her heels, and she's still trying to sneak in there and almost recovered it. You could tell right away, though, she was a little off on one of the carves. Still attempted to go vert, but put her behind. So she'll have some work to do on her second left. She's just got another one of the greatest right scores that we've had in the last couple days, though. So she'll be feeling good with that 8.43. What happened on the left?
Just one of those turns that you get a little bit hung up, and then when you try to regroup, that wave is just screaming down the line. Like, nothing that we haven't seen it yet, Joe, but as you see it, that lip right there is like glue. And she gets stuck. She's trying to force through. She's going to try and regroup as much as she can. You see the urgency right there. She's looking at down the line, knowing already she's a bit too late. Try to sneak herself in under the hood right there, but she's going to get lipped right about now. 1, 2, 3. Boom. That's just a guillotine to your head, and it just makes you lose balance. We've seen a lot of that already, though.
Gabriella Bryan going from strength to strength ever since she qualified for this tour. She was always solid with a big front side power gouge, but it got bigger in the offseason, stronger. She could throw some water way out of this basin. There she goes, making it rain. Gabby Bryan drills that section. How about timing and authority? Nice little view under the hood. Drives into that section. I love that turn, seeing some fins. Little chip off the lip and then swing it again. Crushing that section. Gabby Bryan might be the most powerful surfer on tour. Big example of it right there again. And oh my goodness. Putting that thing away. Richard Dog Marsh clapping. Tommy Witz is going to clap, showing his respect for just amazing surfing there.
She literally destroyed that wave. Like, it's the same thing as you get an object off the 10th floor and just throwing it down. Like, you're going to see it right here. She's going to start to put on the gas. Massive turn right there. So strong. This is the only flawless of the wave. Like, she didn't get that deep in that first barrel and the second barrel, but look at this turn right here. So unreal. Making sure she extended as much as she could, and once again setting up for this explosive maneuver right here. So much water displacement, so powerful. And that's the problem right there. A little bit in front of that barrel, but look at this next turn right now. So much explosiveness through her surfing. As you can see it, that nose of the board getting redirected, coming back pretty clean with speed. And that's just that turn before the first barrel. And there's more damage to be done right here. Does that high line, gets the speed. It's gonna, she literally sinked half of that board down. Like, there's no one that is pushing that much water as Gabby Bryant on the woman surfing right now. And then 2 bangers to finish it up. Just so explosive, so powerful. Pleasing to the eye, never gets old.
She had a torn labrum last year in her shoulder that she just surfed through all year. Said sometimes feel like she barely could paddle. She's so happy to be 100%. Even with that torn labrum, she almost made the final 5. Thinking about the barrel, trying to get that stance dialed a little bit out in front. She's going to hang in there. Getting in the zone for a bit. Now back to throwing water. Crushing that section again. She'll just start getting the right speed up to make this barrel. See how it just really speeds up when it hits that part of the basin. Now she's going to wind up for a big power hack to finish off her first run in this semifinal. We will see Gabriella Bryant take the lead before we start run number 2 for Katie Simmers.
I like what I see, Joe. Obviously, there's more opportunity on both of the barrels once again, but solid surfing, and I like the fact that she's throwing the ball to Caitlin Simmers' corner right there. Like, it's going to add pressure. Obviously, Caitlin already with the massive score on the 843. I don't think we have seen a bigger score on the women's side first, so for her to better will be very hard, and the pressure is all going to be on the left. As you see right there, she takes a little bit too long to set up for that barrel and gets a little bit ahead. She gets covered, not so deep, but then starts to do some damage on her rail as usual and as we expected. And here once again does that early pump, sets herself a little bit in front. This time doesn't get covered, but finish it off strong. And I think the most important thing about this wave is just to finish it off on a high note, making sure she stick that left to apply pressure to Caitlin, and if she needs, she'll better herself on the next 2 attempts she would have ahead of her. As you see it right there from that front angle, starts to get covered right there halfway through that barrel. Gets covered once again, but didn't get as deep. But this is a beautiful turn from Gabby. Look how much spray.
Gabriella Bryant taking it in from Richard Dog Marsh, her coach, a great human being, his dog, and still passionate about the sport of surfing at the highest level. Katie Simmers is going different on us here. Drawn out roundhouse cutback, and then combos it up with a big climb, just like she was at lower trestles. Now setting up this barrel, wide open pit, just like she was at Snapper Rocks. Comes out almost like a stand-up pit there and lays it down. Judges are going to love that creativity. Blowing the fins out. Oh my goodness. Releases that lean back into the barrel late. Simmers is out, and now winding up for the end section. Beautiful snap there, and she'll just let go. One of the dreamiest rides we've seen in the last couple of days. Changing gears on her lines, bringing spark to one of the most classic moves in the game, that big roundhouse on that opening section.
I think I've mentioned about the roundhouse, right? Like, you never know what she's going to throw at us, and that's the first thing that comes to mind. This is the only turn no one does it at the pool, and I feel like she almost took off deeper than anyone has ever did, at least in this event, to get that speed down the line. As soon as people are taking off, she was doing that drawn out carve. Beautiful fun climb, and still does that third turn, so she had to be taking off at least 10 or 15 foot deeper than everyone. And you can notice that, look how tall she's standing. I mean, not many people would be able to pull that off, because a lot of the boys mostly are much taller than that. And then look how much she's going to push on this turn right here. Beautiful layback snap. And then she gets as deep as you could possibly do once again. Kind of goes for that carve with the rail grab, but it was a little bit too bottomed out of a section, and she kind of gets it more aggressive into it. Look at the technique, how she's going to look back into the foam, eye it down, where she needs to hit it. So hard to do out here, like redirect her board that much. And it just sets her up into success, into a perfect timing. That was so pleasant to the eye, Joe.
That was beautiful. A 9.57 best score goes to the reigning world champ, almost getting, well, a bit closer to the 10. But the transition into the barrel, she actually had an attempt at that roundhouse earlier, but didn't make the section, sprayed the fencing. So she took advantage of an opportunity to try out that move. She released a roundhouse cutty on way to her world title at lowers as well. Just the way she does it is, she sees different things, but she's got that special read. Kind of like Curran. Throw a little Reynolds in there. A little bit of Lisa Anderson. Here we go. Katie Simmers with the 9.57. Still needs to perform. Needs a 3.63. Grabbing the rail. Some travel time. Putting herself in the barrel and holding her line well. Sometimes it can be a little bit more stressful when you're surfing for a 3. But putting together some fading turns. This thing's starting to move. She puts her head down. Simmers makes it. Now setting up a little shove it opportunity, and she'll step off of her final wave there. Her family's so supportive. Her mom, a hospice nurse, her dad, an electrician, Timo, her brother, a great surfer. And they love seeing Katie Simmers perform. Following up the 9.57, needed a 3.63 here.
I just love the heat IQ right there. Like, you notice that she was always going for that third turn before that first barrel, which is very critical, but now she doesn't need to put herself in that risk. She makes sure she gets nice and early in that barrel, and then once she's there, stable and matching the pace of the wave, she's trying to slow herself down. Here, right now, this turn gets a little sketchy. She almost sketches a little bit too much, but once again, doesn't try to get that third turn before the second barrel. Just want to make sure she finishes off the wave and throw the ball back into Gabriella's corner, because she only needs a 3.63 and goes for a shove it just for the fun. Didn't push that back foot enough, but hey, that's okay. Why would you anyways? Save that for the final.
You can tell she's enjoying her job. Oh, I enjoyed every bit of that. Katie with her coach, Tommy Whitaker, talking about the nerves of chasing a 3 score and how much that could get into your head. Here comes Gabby Bryan. There also, we're diving into what she might do here. She had a 7.5. She's going to try to really get it closer by getting this into the X1 range. Good start out the back. Quick look at the barrel. Big money turn there. She looks at her tail pad, crushes it again. Flexing off the lip with the fins out, putting everything into every maneuver. Gabriella pulls up and under. She's going to get drained. Makes it. Throws in a lot into that open face hammer and shuts it down. Wow. Holy smokes. That was brilliant.
Did you hear Dog on the back just going, wow. How could you not?
Wow, she's got a fire hose on the back of that Mayhem, throwing so much spray. But a lot of differences in the way she throws power. She can throw those little jams on the face and then go off the lip and blow the fins out.
And that actually happens when you're back against the wall and you actually need a massive score to match that 9.57. You're going to see here she started to unleash it, bringing something new, a little bit more critical. Look how much she pushes that back foot. And this one, even more, kind of a layback snap with some tail throw. And those are all back-to-back maneuvers. Like, we see a lot of surfers pushing it, one turn and then kind of regrouping into the next one and keeping the flow, but she did 4 times back to back.
That sequence of power hooks was unbelievable.
Look at this. Look at it inside rail getting digged once again in a good way. Like half of her border was inside the water. And let's just mention that she cleaned up the problem that she had on the previous wave. Look how deep she gets in that barrel. Comes out and finish it off strong once again. Listening to her coach, Doug Marshall. Clearly, she did a lot of adjustments into this ride. Tommy Witt's even impressed, a.k.a. Easter Bunny right there.
Kind of reminds you of skate parks when everyone's cheering for people to go bigger. It has that kind of camaraderie and vibe here. Let's see what Gabby can do. Needs a 6.32. Starting off with a couple of turns. That one more critical. Right into a sweep for that rail to pull in. Dog identified that third turn being really important, and she reacted. Throwing some water off the rail again. Right in the pocket. Hammers it one more time, and now really reaching for the end section. She's got the speed, but gets lipped in the head on the way down the line.
She was there.
Wow.
She had it. 6.32. That was for sure a 6.32 if she would have came out of that barrel. Now it's the question asked to the judges. No matter the outcome, I think she should be so proud of the type of surfing she's done. Gabby was so impressive in this whole event, but especially in this last heat. She was on her way right now, just gets a little bit too high. Gets clipped on the head. You can see Doc just baffled in disbelief of what happened. Look how much water displacement right there. Critical. This turn even better, more critical. And a third one, and that's the combination of, this is pretty incredible. Like, I'm not counting her out yet.
Well, you got to compare it to Katie's 5.57 on her left, and the amount of power that Gabriella's putting in the pocket, even without the barrel.
But she does need not more than a point. 6.32 she needs.
It will be Katie Simmers moving on to the final with a big 9.57 from that right. Can she even change gears and give us another look at this wave?